We are witnessing a demographic shift in our society as seniors and boomers, people who are now over 51 years old, currently represent about 30% of the U.S. population. Every day there are 10,000 people reaching the retirement age. Some are set to retire, many cannot afford to retire, and all of them are living longer. My name is Jim Connor. Welcome to Game Changers Silicon Valley. This segment of tonight's show will look into managing the quality of life for this boomer and senior group. My guest is Larry Hayes, currently the publisher of Active Over 50, and a prime example of living the dream of being mentally, physically, and socially engaged in the over 50 lifestyle. Larry, welcome to the show. Let's start with a brief overview of this group as an economic force.
Businesses today are pouring millions of dollars into startups, investment into the boomer and senior marketplace. It's the fastest growing demographic. It's the wealthiest. These people have been around a long time. Technology is driving everything. And the market is huge. As you mentioned, it's $7 trillion, and that's with a T, not a B, and it's growing rapidly. So a lot of companies are investing a lot of money and talent and new products and services aimed at this demographic.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of thoughts here. It's a big part, 32% of the population. They are continue to be active, and they're not only consuming quite a bit, but they're also funneling money into other investments. I have that impression. And they're representing pretty much a consumer almost everything in our society, maybe not baby clothes, and well, I shouldn't say that. As grandparents, they're going to buy lots of baby clothes. But is this an issue where they're becoming, because of the technology enablement or empowerment that's coming to them, that they're now more prolific in their lives?
What you're seeing is that not only for the items you mentioned, but it's housing, it's money, it's transportation. These are all the areas that people are investing in. Retirement communities, they have a new retirement community in Los Altos. They're investing $100 million. There's a new one in Pleasanton going up right now, $300 million. And this is for continuing care retirement communities. There's travel agencies, there's cruises. The smart investors actually marketing now to this demographic.
Mm-hmm. And you have a media company, and are you part of the marketing outreach to that over 50 crowd?
Yes, I am actually. I started Active Over 50 10 years ago. It was a dream of mine, which I had when I was studying at Syracuse University. Someday I wanted to be a publisher. Well, it took a while to actually fulfill my dream, but in the meantime, I started my own advertising, marketing, and PR agency, actually growing startups, helping them, become successful in their marketplace. So at age 65, I decided that it was time for me to start my own company in the publishing field, because that was my dream of 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. You were willing and risk tolerant enough to take that plunge at 65. Was that a difficult decision? I have to ask, because I think a lot of people, when they reach that retirement age of 65, that number, if you will, would love to go do something different. And I'll just ask you, was it difficult? Was it easier, or was it you said, I have to do it?
It wasn't really difficult for me, because I started my first company, Hayes Marketing Communication, at age 43. So I had 20 years of actually running my own company. And this was, with a lot of high-tech companies like Linear Technology and Cadence, which people know today. So, but the dream was still at some point when I reached a certain age, and age 65 was about the right age, especially when I did a lot of research and found out that this was the market. The boomer senior market was the one that I wanted to target. So it was kind of a transition. Scary, it's daunting when you start in a publishing company, although I had done a lot of publishing for other people, I hadn't done it on my own. But it was a challenge, and I love what I do, so it wasn't really that difficult. But it's not easy, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. This is the magazine.
Yes,
correct?
It is.
Why don't you tell us a bit about the magazine?
Well, basically, people are living longer, healthier, and they're more active than ever before. The mission is to encourage and inspire people to stay active as long as they can. And that's not only physically, but it's mentally, it's socially, and spiritually. So on the cover, I try to feature someone who is at least age 50, who represents the mission of Active Over 50. Now, this particular cover for the fall issue features Walter Die Brewer, who is the CEO of Scanadu, and it's a healthcare company. But he is inventing a new technology that's going to revolutionize healthcare. So the old stereotype of, hey, at age 65, I'm going to retire to a rocking chair, or I'm going to play golf all day, those days are gone forever. You know, the key factor is, we talked about this earlier, is that you need to stay active, you need to stay engaged in the community. All these factors, you know, lead to a longer, healthier lifestyle.
Do you think that this is a metropolitan city movement, or do you think it's extending out to the outsider, the smaller, mid-sized cities? You know, be it Fresno, Sacramento, I won't say Sacramento, it's capital of California, but, you know, not the multi-million population. This area here is 5 million plus, Bay Area, and there's many others like Atlanta and New York City and Boston. But is this mainly in the metropolitan, urban areas, or do you think it's going to extend out?
No, it's worldwide, Jim.
Is it?
It really is. Yeah. The message is universal. People need to stay active, they're living longer. They're looking for, as a resource guide, they're looking for ways that they can engage and stay active forever. It's nationwide, or worldwide, I should say.
Okay. Let me take a minute and let our audience know about you personally. You're a tennis captain of the Sunnyvale tennis team here that has, you got captain a couple teams, but you've been to a number of regular division playoffs, sectional playoffs, and then a couple nationals.
Correct.
Tell us about your programs and how many things you're involved in.
Well, I try to practice what I preach. I'm not perfect, but yes, I have been a captain and a player for 30 years, USTA. I play tennis 2 or 3 times a week. I generally play with the 55 plus, the 65 plus, and the 70 plus teams. And it's something I just love to do. But besides tennis, I do have another life. I'm the president of the Bay Area Sport Fishing Club. I longboat with my wife 2 or 3 times a week. And I love to hike and walk. I just want to be active as long as I can.
You said you're on this 75 plus team. That says that you must be 75 years old or older.
I'm 76.
76. So you just made the cut there.
Well, actually, it's 70. It's 70 plus.
Oh, it's 70 plus. Okay.
And it's interesting because this league did not exist 3 years ago. USTA has recognized that its players, and they have like 700,000 players throughout the United States. They recognize that their players are getting older. We have to create a league for this age group. So you're going to see, maybe, who knows, maybe there'll be an 80 plus league, as time goes on.
So what's your basic thought process? If a person's sitting in, let's just call it Sacramento, California, and they go, boy, that Larry Hayes is pretty impressive and very inspirational. I'd like to get more involved. They don't know how to get a hold of a tennis team. They don't know if there's a senior group out there that's active. And I guess the first thing is come to your magazine, but is there a way to find some local resources or make a connection to the local community that follows this approach to life?
There's quite a few outlets. Right off the bat, I would say I'm a very big believer of the website, the internet. There's a meetup group that has tremendous activities for any age group. There are various activities at corporations, at churches. There's no limit as far as activities if you want to stay involved. And that's really the key, is getting involved and trying to keep moving, stay active one day at a time.
There's been some research that the intellectual stimulation and mental stimulation is extremely important to ongoing health at all ages, but especially at 65 and older. Have you found anything to be typical or had any experiences in observing that?
Well, I have. One of my mentors of life is a doctor named Walter Bortz. He is an expert in longevity and wellness. He has written like 7 books pretty much on the aging process. And from him I have learned, and from my own observation of the last 10 years, that the key, there's one thing you can do to help you mentally and hopefully keep you active, and that is exercise, Jim. It's as simple as that. Just keep moving. That's the best thing you can do. Of course, there are other things you can do, you know, a healthy lifestyle, just staying engaged in the community. All these things are important. But exercise is the best thing you can do to stay active.
And you made one other point when we were talking earlier about the power of volunteering. That's a huge way to get involved, and there are so many organizations that will accept the expertise and the participation of people at all ages, but the people you're talking about have great lifetime experiences as well as accomplishments, and they can make quite a contribution to a volunteer effort.
My wife volunteers at Kaiser Hospital. She's been doing this for 10 years. My gosh, the volunteering, there's a whole world out there. And I would encourage everybody to seek out, do something. Just don't stay at home and watch television or play golf all day, or tennis. You know, just get engaged in the community. You'll live longer, you'll be happier, and you'll be healthier.
Well, let's let our audience know how to contact you and follow up with you, because I think it's a great story, and I'm sure there's any number of people out there that will want to follow up and find out how they can become involved. So the contact information is? Larry
at activeover50.com, or you can call me, 408-921-5806.
Wonderful. Well, Larry, I just want to thank you so much for coming in. I want to wish you every success going forward. I just think you've got a solid 10 to 20 years ahead of you. There's no question about that, right?
I'll see you on the courts next year.
Next year, okay. Thanks again so much. We look forward to keeping in touch with you, and we'll have you back again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Game Changer Silicon Valley. Each week, we'll address an area of innovation that may emerge as a game changer of tomorrow. You can follow us on our website, gamechangers.tv, our Facebook page, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We look forward to your continued interest and participation in the upcoming shows.